For our project that we're going to make an SVG out of, I've chosen this one. It's a nice St. Patrick's Day project that I have posted on my website. Customize it, and this is what the project looks like in Design Space. We're going to want to get rid of our grid. The first step in doing this is separating everything. So we need to detach this and pull it away, and detach all of this. And we're going to have to do this a couple of times to get all this stuff up there. That is detached. Leave any score lines on the page because that will tell us where they are when we copy and paste it. And there's some stuff under this. I'll send that to the back. Okay, we're going to take this and this and this and move them off of the sheet. And then we'll want to take this and move it down. We're going to transfer it over to Inkscape with Snip and Sketch. So down here where I told you to put the Snip and Sketch, click on it, click New, highlight the piece you want to move to Inkscape. And now to copy it into Inkscape, wherever you have your arrow, that's where it'll put it. So Control V, because Snip and Sketch put it on the clipboard. It now has a little outline on it. You want to go to Trace Bitmap. And to find Trace Bitmap, you go to the Path heading, Trace Bitmap. And its default settings are different than these. What we want it set as is Colors 2. We want Smooth turned off, Stack Scans and Remove Background turned on, and Live Preview turned on. And click OK. And then separate off these path. And you can tell it's the path because it is exactly adhered to the outside, whereas the other one has little gaps. The other way to tell is click on your object and click the little line and arrow, and it will create the path mark. If it is not the path, there will be no little diamonds. So this piece we can get rid of. Just delete it. And we'll go back and transfer all the other ones. You go here, click your Snip and Sketch, and the last one you transferred will be on there. Click New. It'll darken it a little bit. Trace the piece you want. Click Inkscape. Control V. We've already got our settings set, so click OK. Move the path and delete the other one. For these big pieces, it is that simple. Now, there's a special little bit about the lines that I told you to leave on there. We're going to select the piece just like we would any other piece. And you see the lines are on there. Go to Inkscape, and where it says Scans, you want to click that up to 3 because we want it to include the lines. Control V. You can see the lines, they're not all going to show up, but when you actually do the trace, it will. I'm going to go ahead and trace this now. Take it off there, and you see there's lines there. Now we'll handle how to do those lines in a later lesson, but for right now just leave it like it is and get your rest of your pieces. When you're ready to do this, click, select the whole thing, and again it'll show up as a line drawing, and so far it looks just like normal. Control V. You want to set it for 2. Click OK. Now sometimes this works really well and sometimes it doesn't. But as long as you have a white background, you can put it over the piece that you and I think it's on the other piece. The problem with line drawings in Inkscape is you've got to be exactly on it to get it to move. We'll repeat that step with the other design. Click New. Highlight the whole design. over here, copy it, trace the bitmap. As you can see, it works very well. And that one goes up here. We're just putting them so that we can make sure we got all of them. We're putting them where they belong. We'll move them around later. Now we want this little... I do that all the time, by the way. You don't want to do that. You don't want that highlighted, because when you go to Snip and Sketch and you select this, now all of a sudden you've got those extra parts. So just click off of it so that it's not highlighted. Click your Snip and Sketch. New. And I want to show you something special with this too. We're going to go to Inkscape. We're going to Control V. You can see that it's not quite what you want. It joins pieces together that you don't necessarily want joined together. So we're going to delete both of these and go back, and I'll show you how to deal with detailed lines. What you want to do is grow this, and then find the image that you want. Go to Snip and Sketch, New. Now you notice that it's bigger. Snip and Sketch just copy what you highlighted. Doesn't make any decisions about details or size or anything. It just copies what you put on there. You Control V it. And as you can see, it still isn't perfect, but we'll show how to do that in a second. Delete off the original. As you can see, this is a lot bigger than the other pieces, but you can size that. We'll fix that. The problem we're having is that some of these details are still in here. What we're going to do is we're going to go to this tool right here that creates rectangles and squares. And we're going to make a very thin rectangle. And if you need to plus this up a little bit so that you can see the details, that's fine. And then go back to the arrows. Click on the blue section once and it'll go to rotate. And we want to rotate it a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to cut out this little space right here. Now, go back to the arrow. Your rectangle is selected. Click Shift and click on the clover leaf so that both are selected. And then you want to go to Path Difference. Takes out that little section. So we're going to go minus, 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 minus to shrink that back down. Now, to make it the size we want it, since we copied it extra large, hold your mouse over that bottom arrow, press the Control key, and shrink it down. And that is about it. If you want to know the exact size, you've got a width and a height here. Go back to Design Space, click it. It is 0.976 wide. So we'll go here, we'll lock them. It does it. Default is not locked, so you want to lock it. Wide is 0.976. And that's how big the original was. And it's all cleaned up. Let's shrink this back down so that we can find the unicorn. There's the unicorn. Okay, make the unicorn front and center. And then grow it up as much as you can where you still have it all on the screen. Swap it. Let's see. That's probably as big as we can make it. Click the Snip and Stitch. New. Make sure you include the whole unicorn. And it puts it all on the clipboard. Go here. Control V it. And then go ahead and scan it. Get rid of the extra. Now this looks pretty good. I'm looking at some of the details in there. It separated it out pretty good. So we want to make it the same size as our original. or we just basically want it to fit on this sheet. So we're going to hit Control and size it down. You may have to do it a couple times. Make sure every time you do this, you hit Control, because if you don't have Control hit and you accidentally move it, you could change the proportion. Okay, but there. Now we want it a little bit down underneath there, freed up. So that looks about the right size. That gives us the glue spot, makes everything about right. Text. Okay, we'll handle text in another lesson, but for right now, I'm just going to copy and paste it so I have an example of what it is. New. Highlight all the text. Control V it. And then we're going to click it up to 3 just to make sure I got all the details. We're not going to use this piece, but I want it on here for sizing purposes. That's how you transfer the whole project onto Inkscape. Now you'll notice we didn't copy the shamrock. I'll show you how to do that in a future lesson. That makes it a lot easier. Okay, but I just wanted to get everything on here right now, and we did that. In our next lesson, we will cover generating the score lines on the part, this part here that has lines. We're going to show how to adjust them, how to align and distribute them so that everything is right where we want it to be. This is Carmel, the Crazy Cricket Lady. And that is how you transfer things to Inkscape from Design Space so that you can create your own SVG file. Like I said, next time we'll handle score lines. Thank you for joining us.